All right, now I got to think of a way to intro this. I got to think of a new greeting.
Right.
Because you made that rule. All right,
Whatever.
here we go. Here we go. As you know, this is Measure of an Episode. Our continuing mission to explore what makes a Star Trek episode a good Star Trek episode. And not just good TV. I did that from memory, by the way. That was all from memory.
Nice.
I did not look at it once. Last time,
I'm Jonathan.
triggered, and I'm Paul. Very good. Thank you for reminding me that you're Jonathan. And
Just in case you forgot.
Yeah. The name of the episode is called... I don't know what's going on. I woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Voyager.
Yeah, hi.
Season 6,
1 o'clock.
episode 21. Yeah. Good callback. Good callback.
Something that the audience will not hear unless you are a Patreon member.
Unless you're a Patreon
And
member.
even that is only for a limited amount of time because once that gets really popular, that reference is going away.
Right.
Live
Voyager.
fast and prosper, is that what you're going to say?
Season 6, episode 21, Live Fast and Prosper. A clever trio of identity thieves claiming to be Janeway, Chakotay, and Tuvok makes trades all over the quadrant and gives Voyager a bad name. Man, with the Oxford commas in these guys, they just don't... Janeway, Chakotay, and Tuvok makes trades? Oh, I guess it's a clever trio is making trades. That's right. Okay. The grammar works out. Everybody relax. It's all okay. We figured it out.
There was somebody who was holding their breath and like just turning red, fuming until you explained that. So I'm really glad you calmed them down. It's okay.
Right. We're now back to one listener. So
We'll get
thank
through
you
this.
for staying. Thank you for staying, Mike. It was kind of a nothing episode in a way. Well, I guess we'll sort of expose how that's true as we go through it because I kind of had very little to talk about. But I will say, so let's go for the beginning.
Well, hang on. I want to talk about that because like that's like a mind-blowing revelation for me right now. Isn't all of Voyager a nothing series? Because it doesn't impact the Star Trek universe in any way. They're in the Gamma Quadrant. Like they're not going to be out there again for another at least 700 years, depending on like how traveling technology, how warp technology advances. But everything in this show doesn't impact the rest of the Star Trek universe in any way.
That's not necessarily what I meant. I just meant that it doesn't, nothing really hard hitting happens in
Right.
a good or bad way. I mean, and it just kind of is here. It's not a bad idea. It just, they don't really, I guess this is sort of our complaint about Voyager in the general is that it doesn't really execute very well. It's just sort of, it grabs the ambience of Star Trek very well, but it doesn't quite execute the storylines in as well as I guess you could say, or as Next Gen did, right?
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with that. But let's talk about it.
When they open and there's the aliens that fake Janeway and fake Tuvok are conning, there's all like I feel like whenever there's a duo of aliens on these shows and all of them, there's always kind of a dim alien, like the dumb one.
Oh, okay.
Does that register
Yeah,
for you?
no,
I feel like that happens a lot.
There's somebody that has to have things more explicitly explained to them. Yeah.
It's like a Pinky in the Brain situation.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but no, I would agree that there's somebody who's just not as quick to understand what's happening. But are you saying it happened in this episode?
It did at the very beginning. There's like a dumb one and there's like the regular
Oh,
one.
those aliens. I thought you were talking about the trio. No. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, well, so it opens up and there's the silhouette of two obviously Starfleet people beaming down. And it turns out they say, "I'm Janeway, and this is Commander Tuvok," and it's not actually Janeway or Tuvok.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself immediately, what if this was the first time you'd ever seen Voyager?
Well, my daughters watched with us. And
Oh, really?
Yep.
So they're like, okay, got it. This is Janeway, and this is Tuvok, right? Cemented.
Yeah.
Move on.
Well, yeah, basically. They were like, okay, these are these two. And then,
Right, because they play this as though you already know, hopefully.
Right.
So that happened, but it would just be amazing because we can get a couple of scenes in before we realize, okay, so what happened with your girls? When did they start asking questions, or had they already left at this point?
No, actually, they watched the whole thing. They got really excited this time around. I'm
Okay.
not sure why this episode was the one where they were like, please can we watch it?
Because it's in color?
It's in crisp color.
Crisp, non-blurry. non-racist, non-misogynist color.
I don't know. You know, they still quantified the black guy on the alien crew as being Tuvok. Like, couldn't have been the other guy. Had to be, you know, some level of realism for these people who have never met the Starfleet crew before.
Right.
But well, they realized it like in two ways. The first one was when they didn't deliver the goods, and they got kind of more than a little confused. They asked, "Are they the bad guys?" So I had to explain, yes, but keep watching. You'll learn a little bit more. And so then we got onto Voyager, and when Captain Janeway showed up and the guy was really upset with them, you know, my daughters said, there are two Janeways? And I said, yes, keep watching. It'll get explained.
It's so confusing. Are they all like this?
There's so many layers.
Said no one ever about Voyager.
Well, except for my daughters. They're like, this show is amazing.
Oh, it's a Janeway within a Janeway within a Janeway.
Actually, having said that, I gotta say, like, if you don't know Star Trek as a whole, and you don't know Voyager specifically, the 2 episodes we've seen, well, how many have we seen? 2, or have we seen more than 2?
We've seen 3, I think.
Okay. Oh yeah, the
Investigations,
right,
something.
The doctor one, where the doctor was malfunctioning.
Right.
Like the two episodes, Investigation and this one. Like if you don't know Star Trek and you don't know Voyager, like those are actually, well, I guess no. I was thinking Investigations. The reveal was in that, like the part with Paris, but it's not. It's delivered way before. So that could have been a great episode.
We thought that we came up with that.
Right.
That's how it should have been.
Yes, we edited it to be a great episode. Edited it. Man, that's such a hard thing to say.
By the way, so we keep landing on episodes that are directed by next gen people.
Yeah.
I feel like the last couple have been directed by, not even in, I think that there was one of the Deep Space Nine episodes was directed by either LeVar Burton or, no, it was
Avery Brooks.
It was Avery Brooks.
Yeah, it was Cisco.
Right.
Cisco directing Cisco in Fascination.
Right. Yeah, they're just all this self-direct actors directing Star Trek. So I don't know, it just seems to be happening a lot. I didn't realize it happened this much.
Right.
To be honest.
Yeah, no, I hadn't either.
So another question: when fake Tuvok gives his "live long and prosper" hand signal thing, he's using his left hand. Is that the wrong hand?
No, I believe it is supposed to be the left hand.
Use the left hand.
I think so. Yeah.
I think you're right.
But
I think you're right.
That's. Yeah. I mean, why would that be in the databanks?
I mean, everything. I mean, this guy, what I love about this guy is that he totally bought into his
own
for
sure
mythology. Like,
he is such a method actor. Yeah.
I know.
Through and through. Yep.
He never breaks character, ever. Like, how long was he studying to be whatever monk he was being before he actually did the con of the monk, right?
I figured that was a made up thing to try and, make sure that people didn't find their hideout, their stash.
Even if it was, he wrote several pages of backstory for his character.
Oh, for sure. But then that goes to the point of, like, did he just throw all that away and dive into Tuvok? Or does he have, like, this whole repertoire of characters that he can call on because he knows those characters inside and out? He knows them better than he knows his own self.
Like Gene Parmesan?
Yes.
Another callback to something you haven't heard, audience. Enjoy.
I mean, I assume that at least half of our audience is familiar with Arrested Development. They just don't know what we said about it.
I mean, you can't really split one into half.
There's 2 people now, 2 mics. We just covered that.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Mike and Mike, if one of you is still around, thank you.
Right. Arrested Development. You're good.
Yeah. We get to the real Voyager.
Mm-hmm.
And your girls are very confused at this point.
They're hanging on with bated breath. Like, they have to know how the bad guys are the main characters here. How does that make any sense?
Right.
This is not Star Trek Breaking Bad.
There's no way those two. Oh man, how great would it be if there was if Vince Gilligan did like a Star Trek miniseries of some kind? Oh god, It would be the best thing ever. All right, so Mr. Oric comes aboard saying, give me back my dilithium, because you owe me dilithium, or give me back my whatever lithium. And they come to the conclusion that they've been hornswoggled.
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Well, cornswoggled, but yeah.
Cornswoggled?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, so that make-believe word is not as good as the other make-believe word that I said? Anyway.
Hornswoggled? No, hornswoggled is just ridiculous. Ooh,
maybe I said,
am I wrong?
maybe
I'm wrong.
Oh.
It's hornswoggled. You're right.
Oh. Okay, so they realize that their identity has been stolen. And so they figure out that Neelix and Paris were also, they were conned by these two people.
Yes.
And
by retelling the story, and that's how we learn about them being monks. They do a flashback.
At least we get a little bit of the story shown to us and not told to us.
Yes, I was so grateful for that.
Yeah, it was nice. I actually liked it. And so, but the thing that I didn't get, the thing that was just sort of we wrote ourselves into a corner here, so let's get out of it really quickly, is that apparently anybody with like a Bluetooth hard drive can just walk by a Starfleet console and download the entire database. Like, don't they have passwords or Touch ID or something on everything?
So, okay, let's pause that for a second and just like we're already accepting that two different alien races can have technology that will intermingle with each other. So they stole that amulet. That's the assumption, right? Like it's not just something that they built or it's part of their alien race. Like they're
or I mean they bought it for nefarious purposes.
Right. They're swindlers.
Maybe.
Yeah, they're thieves and con artists and that kind of thing. So I could easily see Quark trying to sell some kind of data receiver that can get past any encryption and any passwords.
I mean, I don't want to dwell on this too much. It just it bugged me, right?
Right.
And this is the stuff that bugs me.
That's fair that it bugged you. I'm trying to offer some alternatives for you to concede that it's possible.
You're trying to make it better. I'm very impressed that you're defending Voyager.
Well, thanks.
You've grown.
I'm
a bit.
I'm very disheartened that you are bashing it so hard.
Well, buckle up. So Janeway puts it all together that they've been hornswoggled. Squoggled?
Swoggled.
They've been squoggled. Yeah.
Cornswoggled.
And this leads Neelix and Paris to do a bit of soul searching because apparently they feel like they've slacked off in their own conning abilities.
Right.
They've lost their edge to con people.
Yeah.
And so they have this idea like, well, let's find a mark and we can practice conning somebody of the crew because everybody loves to be conned.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's try and con the Doctor. And so what they do is they're playing the stupid game where you put with the three, you put the rock underneath one of the three cups and you shake them around for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And then the Doctor's like, this looks like an interesting game.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, does it?
Well,
does this look like an interesting game to you, Doctor?
So first off,
because it's not.
Neelix and Paris are stupid enough to try and get a computer to be tricked. And the way I pictured it was because of how like the Doctor said his answer and how he knew where it was, that the Doctor knew that he was being duped. And so he was just playing them. He was conning the conners.
Oh, so he was in on it from the beginning. Like he was playing along.
Right.
In a sense. Like he was having a little bit of fun with the humans.
Yeah, like he knew that he was going to win. And so he was a cup shark.
So he gets Neelix to work in the sick bay, and so that's a whole thing. It's like, why would you want Neelix in the sick bay?
Well, he's been in there a couple times, and I wouldn't want him in there just because Kes used to be in there, and I could totally see him being like, "Oh, this was where Kes did blah blah blah. I miss her."
And there are pictures of her everywhere, so it's just
cardboard cutouts, holographic stands. Like,
he turns around and sees a life-size cutout. Ah! And she comes back every once in a while, so you never know if it's actually her or the cardboard cutout.
It's like finding Waldo.
She does come back. She comes back, right?
She comes back in in a couple episodes, so we won't get to her for like another 7 years. But yeah. Okay,
so they come across the fake Voyager, and we think they're going to get caught by the real Voyager. But then everything that they need to catch the fake Voyager conveniently gets damaged. Like all the systems that they need
Get tractor beam in the transporter. Yep.
Yeah. And so they catch
One of them.
fake Janeway.
Yep.
Yeah, they catch fake Janeway. And then she brings Janeway Janeway and Tuvok go and visit fake Janeway, who is still wearing the wig for some reason.
I know.
I don't know why.
She says it's
keeps the wig
uncomfortable. Like, she doesn't want it, but the moment she's like, the moment she's away from everybody, she still puts it on.
Yeah, she likes it. She likes the feel of it.
Yeah. Although she specifically said in the first scene, I hate
Well,
the way this
it's
goes.
like it hurts so good, right? It's like it's a reminder that she's in command when she's wearing that wig. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay.
You bought that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just gives her that sense of superiority.
Yeah. So Janeway gets
She's a
sassy
douche.
with her. She actually gets kind of douchey.
She does in this scene. Yep.
And this scene with her counterpart, her fake counterpart, and Janeway teaches us something. It's a Federation staple that when faced with dealing with a con man, make sure to con them back harder, right? Get them back with twice the amount of con that they threw at you. Don't rise above it. Don't take the high road. Lie more. That's basically what we're taught by Janeway in this scene. Although it does get clever. I suppose this show does get clever in the final acts, right?
Right.
And I actually thought I saw what was coming, and I was surprised how it ended up. Although there's a scene where when Janeway is leaving, when she's leaving the brig, and she splits her line. So she starts her line with Tuvok, contact the Meridians. And then they take this super long walk to the door. It's like literally 5 seconds. Then they both turn and Tuvok turns as though he knows what she's going to say. We've got a prisoner to handle. And then they leave. It's like, Jesus, that was so long. Like you just say it on your way out. Like
she walks through the doors and turns around to try to start saying it as the doors close on her. Yeah. We've got a prisoner debt.
Oh, if they just put us in charge of re-editing the show, it would be like 20 times better.
It would the funny moments would be funnier to us, and the scripts would definitely be better.
And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
As long as they're funnier to us. Because no one else is going to watch it. If people aren't rewatching the 4th season of Arrested Development, they're not going to rewatch Star Trek Voyager.
Season 6.
Yeah. So she pulls off this long con, which amazingly works somehow. Because Paris hides in the portable coffin that the flyer apparently has.
What was that? Like, was it the bed chamber? Was it?
I don't know. I can't imagine
container?
any. Yeah, I don't know why you need to like manually load a missile. And is it a morgue? I mean, why else you wouldn't sleep in there?
Right.
And was it for 7 of 9? Was that like a recharging station? Or I don't know.
Or was
it's a
it
coffin.
Maybe it was just a luggage container.
I don't know. Do Star Trek people need luggage? They just make their own clothing, right? They just
anything that's
synthesize
sentimental.
clothing. I don't know. So then the show ends with a clever gambit on Janeway's part.
Yeah, I mean, and it did require a little bit, but it didn't feel convenient to me. Like the only thing that it required was that fake Janeway escaped. Everything, like if that happened, everything else worked out kind of like the way it would have. I didn't feel like there was any moments of convenience in this part.
I'm guessing that Neelix knew that from the get-go that she was going to steal his double-cross him and then shoot I'm sure they didn't tell the security
guard, right?
Yeah, because they don't need to.
Would have been great if it was Chakotay.
Captain, why have I been assigned to the brig on this specific 5-minute window? I don't understand.
We need you everywhere, Chakotay. We need our eyes.
Yeah. Like they never let him in on any of the gambits.
She shot me. Yes, we knew that was going to happen. We didn't want you to know it, and you played your part very well.
Yeah, you did a great job being shot.
Oh, poor Chakotay. Poor everybody. Poor everybody.
Poor
on
everybody.
this show.
Poor us. Actually, poor us.
Just being under Captain Janeway. Like there are people who still defend her as being a good captain, and she's just we're also bashing her for something she didn't do right now. Like
she thought it. I'm sure she thought it.
She was like, "Ooh, Tuvok, you know what we should?" No, never mind.
We did that last week.
Didn't we do that 4.5 years ago?
Tuvok has to not kill himself every night just because he has an allegiance to the Federation.
Right.
And
well, that's what his
is he
meditation.
Federation, by the way? I can't remember if is he the other people? I'm Maquis.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that he was Federation from the beginning, and he was the spy in the Maquis.
That's right.
That Janeway was trying to go get.
Right.
And Chakotay was the one who actually deflected from Starfleet to become part of the Maquis, and now he's obviously back in.
Got it.
But what was I going to say? Oh no, I think for Neelix, I feel like it was he was happy either way. Like if his conversation worked, then they would have had a little bit more negotiating to do or something like that. But if it didn't work, then they were going with Janeway's plan of having the shuttle there to follow her. So I feel like
that's the brilliance of it, I suppose. Right?
Yeah, like Neelix, it was going to work either way. Either Neelix convinced her, or they just followed the shuttle. But Neelix may have been in on it, but I don't think that was crucial to the plan working. As long as she escaped, that was the important part. And also the security guard must have known, because I actually thought about that when Neelix stepped in. I was like, why did they not reseal the bar?
Yeah, I mean, they do that all the time, though, where somebody walks in.
Right,
I mean,
but don't they reseal it? I feel like they do.
I think sometimes. I think if they remember.
Special effects remembers.
I don't know. I mean, I get the impression that guy, he's always in the brig. And so he's already gone nuts because out of extreme boredom, because like 99.9% of the time, nobody's in there and he's looking after nobody.
Right.
And they don't have, Boggle.
Well,
I'm assuming.
See, I wonder about that. Like the transporter people, O'Brien, when he had that job, and like people who work in the brig, when there's nobody in there, like, do they still have that job, or are they just on call and they get to wander around the ship?
Well, when there's an emergency and they say 2 to beam out, he was always right on it. Like he was always in there. And I can see the need to have somebody on duty at all times.
Right.
Maybe they have other stuff they can be doing, but they're in there.
Do you think it's a full 8-hour shift of just standing there waiting to be called? Or do you think they shorten the shift because it's not necessary and they have an hour in the transporter room and then they have 7 hours doing something else?
I'm sure there is a military analog that we could find. How do they do shifts that are just so boring, where even if you're stationed at a gun, right? I'm sure on these giant Navy battleships, they have these people who are manning these guns.
Right.
Because they need to be ready at any given moment. But most of the time, you're just sitting there inert. So I'm sure they have 2-hour shifts or something like that where they rotate. And you might be on call for 8 hours, but you're bouncing back and forth with 2 or 3 other people or something like that.
Right.
You'd go nuts. You'd go crazy.
I know.
Imagine being on Voyager, but you're in the room that nobody goes into.
Right. Well, you're already way out in the middle of nowhere, so you can't call your friends. And you're on the part of the ship that nobody goes to. Like, who goes to the brig just to go to the brig?
I mean, I guess somebody has to clean it.
No, we just saw they have sonic showers.
No, I mean, who cleans the carpet? I mean, even the brig actually looks like a nice quarters. It's like all nice and carpeted. And
because of the sonic shower, I assume that everything just gets that sonic spray, kind of like the episode of Next Generation where they did the particle cleaning.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I always assume that they have all these special materials that don't stain, that literally can just be sucked into the air and or whatever. It's just no one's ever talked about it. Those are the things I think about. But yeah, I mean, I guess they have some sort of cleaning technology. This is how much happens in this episode that we're talking about cleaning technology.
So, all right, so let's get back to the morgue drawer in the shuttle. So Paris comes out and he activates the doctor. And I assumed that this was the cockpit because they looked like they were glancing in her direction, but it must have been either far enough away that she couldn't see or hear them, or it was around a slight corner, or there was a door separating them. I didn't quite get that.
I think there is a galley. I think there is a separated galley or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
And I just picturing her like turning around and then being like, oh,
she's already standing there with a phaser. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, this did not go as planned. Although, to be fair, you'd have to know to shoot the doctor in the arm to like actually deactivate him. So he could easily just go over and like let her shoot through his chest and his head, and then grab her and like take the gun. When
fake Janeway is holding her, her friends, her con man friends,
right,
with the phaser, and she calls the captain and says, "Captain, where are you?" And then it cuts back to Voyager, and you can hear her call. I was like, wait a minute. When did they make this deal? How did this deal work? Why did they have to pretend to have her break out?
Right?
like, I totally bought into it. It's like, this seemed like they she was way too far into this con, right? And I feel like, oh, well, this was all for the brig guy.
Right.
Like, this is all just to mess with him.
Got you. Happy birthday.
I can't feel my legs because they shot him.
Yeah, yeah. You ain't got no legs, Timmy. Fake Tuvok. Too fake. Tuvok? Nope. That's
Tuvok.
Nope. Yeah. He comes along and he says something to Tuvok about being so they're facing off with each other. And they both have their phasers drawn, and it's just the two of them. And he says something like, logic would dictate that you will not fire, or we are at an impasse, or something like that. And Tuvok says, your logic is flawed, and then blinds him with the flashlight.
Yeah. The old blind him with the flashlight trick. Gets him every time. I like that fake Tuvok got to meet real Tuvok. And I love in the music, they acknowledge that. Whoops. Whoa. I just broke everything. At first, I thought that sound was my phone. I'm like,
yeah,
my phone's made out of clay. Like, when did that happen?
What did you break?
A clay mug.
Oh,
I knocked it off the.
You just swing your hand around.
So,
what happened?
So disoriented. Yeah. Well, I caught my hand on the wire for my headphones.
Oh.
Oh, that's too bad. I love that mug.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. What was I saying? Dismissed?
You were saying about how fake Tuvok got to meet his mentor.
He got to meet him because he I feel like he idolized real Tuvok, and the music, it totally acknowledges that this is a big moment for fake Tuvok.
Right.
It's kind of almost a heroic moment in the music. It was really, it might be my favorite part of this episode. I don't know. They win.
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually don't know.
So the denouement of everything was in the galley. So they call the doctor over, and they do the cup trick one more time, and they actually do manage to pull one over on him. He tells them that it's in the right sleeve, and Paris says it's not, and he holds up his hand, and they're like, and the doctor says that's cheating. It's like, well, but holding it in his hand earlier was not cheating?
First of all, why wouldn't he be able to see them? If he can see Neelix palm it, he would have seen him palm it the second time and then hand it to what's his name? Right?
Yeah.
Like his superior optical sensors or whatever would have picked that one up too. I don't understand how unless he was always holding it or something, or there never was. I don't know.
Well, yeah, and that was the other part. Like, we didn't get to see the setup, so the payoff was a little bit more disappointing.
Yeah.
It would have been great if those two scenes were done in one take. It didn't cut away, so we could actually see the trick from start to finish rather than cutting to different facial reactions. And
yeah, the problem was that Neelix, or the person, Ethan Phillips, is not very good at this game. You could tell.
Yeah.
And so you would need to have a, the same thing that they did in Labyrinth, where David Bowie's messing with those there's a word for that where it's like hand something.
Yeah, but where he's
hand
rolling
gymnastics.
Yeah.
There's a word. There's actually a word for that, but I can't think of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
They should have had somebody come in who's super awesome at it.
Right.
And that would have been cool. Why do we always have to come up with stuff that would have been cooler than what's on the screen? Why can't there be a cool moment?
I mean, that one's probably like budget constraints.
In the grand scheme of things, it would have totally sold it better.
Right.
Though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So that's the last scene.
Yeah.
And they get to know that they're the con men that they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. A couple things of trivia that didn't really like come into play in our review, but one of them very clearly just supports our argument that our randomizer is sentient. The food replicator that they used to that was sold to them by the con artists, that was actually the cloaking device that Quark was going to sell the Cardassians in.
Oh my god,
Profit
that's
and
so
Loss.
weird.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Yep.
It's almost like we're planning it. See, people already think that we're overselling the fact that we want people to think that we're not planning it, but we in fact are planning it.
Right.
That's not what's happening at all.
Yeah. Like we have one rule, which is we are not going to watch two of the same series twice in a row.
Right.
That's our only rule.
In fact, I'm thinking about we can provide a link that we can put on the Patreon where you can just go and look at it. You won't edit it, but you can actually go and use the random episode generator. Just so we can prove to people.
Right.
So maybe we'll do that. We'll put that on the Patreon, and people can go play with it and use it for themselves if they want.
Yeah. And then the gal who played female Janeway,
female Janeway?
Fake Janeway.
You know something I don't know?
Right. She was on DS9 as another character.
Is she playing another alien?
Yeah.
The same alien?
No, she's playing another alien. Completely different prosthetics.
Does she play Worf on DS9? Is that what you said?
No, she played the Dax lover.
Dax lover.
No, all right. Well, we'll get there. But that was a joke. She did not play that.
Oh,
she has.
I thought it was true.
Right.
I was with you.
No,
she should have kept going.
I can't even explain it. Like she's got. It's the usual alien stuff, but like it's still unique in that way. It goes like her ears go from her jawline up to her hair.
Oh, is she the same race that eventually they go into war with or against or something like that?
Oh, you know what? She does look like that. Yes, she's a Vorta. Yes, that's why it looks so familiar to me. Yes.
This has got to be the only Star Trek podcast where the hosts know dick about Star Trek.
Should we have called it that? Don't know dick about Trek.
Or just Dick Trek. How about that? That's fine.
Dick Dixon, Dick Gossip. Who was the other one? Dick Geordie? Yeah.
Dick. Yeah, it's just Dick Geordie.
So good.
One is a rank, the other is the first name, and the next is the regular name.
So this episode didn't have a B plot. Would you agree?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, no B plot. Not really. Unless it's the con thing between Neelix and Paris, which gets paid off.
It does, but you had a hard time saying just in the last episode that there was a B plot, even though, you like the particle beam.
Yeah.
Particle
I feel like this functions mostly because there's more time dedicated to it, I suppose.
In this?
Specifically to, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
No,
it feels,
lying,
I guess because it's two guys. I don't know. Like, there's not a cop behind me with a gun to my head. So like, are you sure about that, man? You sure you want to see that? Like, it's not that. Like, it just feels more like a B plot than the particle fountain.
Yeah, but a B plot doesn't have to feel like a B plot. Like, we've already established that with the O'Brien Keiko relationship. Like, that was most definitely a B plot. It just didn't feel like it. Or the Geordie one, with his mom and
his mom.
That was definitely an A plot and a B plot, but it was just interwoven so well that it didn't feel like it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like what do they learn at the end of this? That they are still con men.
Well, yeah, they didn't learn anything. They went back to one.
I mean, I guess. I mean, it doesn't matter to me because I don't think this is actually a good Star Trek episode, or it's not a Star Trek episode. I feel like there's not enough.
No, the closest thing that would have been Star Trek required, like would be the Doctor changing his shape to look like female Janeway or fake Janeway.
Right, which is the same thing as Ethan Hunt wearing a mask,
right,
or something like that.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. Yeah. It didn't register to me as being unlike the exocomp episode where that was almost all science fiction.
Yeah, that episode could not have been done on any other show. So not Star Trek. Still Trek. Good. I still enjoyed it. This is an episode that I think I would watch again.
Yeah, it held my attention, I guess.
Yeah.
It was nice. And I'm starting to really like Tuvok for some reason.
I like that it's his commanding officer, and it doesn't seem like he likes her very much. Like he has to do.
He hates everybody, dude.
Well, but he has to do what she says, because she's his commanding officer. But they walk out, and she's like, "Psoriasis." He's like, "Well, you put me on the spot, woman. Like, didn't really have much of a choice. I came up like I'm not really good at improv." Okay,
so yeah, not a Star Trek episode. Yeah. Let's see what we're watching next. Let's see what's next on the docket. Right. Randomly.
DS9, Season 2, Episode 12, The Alternate. Dr. Maura Paul arrives on Deep Space Nine with the announcement that he may have a clue to Odo's origins.
Man, it's kind of too bad that we've already seen his origins.
Yeah. we know the origins.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, didn't we know? Oh.
Yep. That's the very start of season 3. So it's but it's it's that kind of thing that was cool because it was episodic, but it had serial undertones to it.
Nice. Yes. Okay. Well, let's go watch it.
Okay.